Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. I go by the Blue Light Oracle, and in today's reading we're going to do a reading in regards to, I believe it's episode 7 now. So we're getting on in years. We're now going from age 51 to 60. So there are only 3 piles, as spoiler alert, one of the piles has finished or completed. Okay, so just remember this is a fun reading. So let's take a look at your piles today. Also, if you haven't seen any of the other episodes, go to my channel and go to the mix. There will be a folder with all of them from episode 1 to when it finishes. Okay, so for pile 1, you have Hathor light codes with light immersion, full system upgrade, power recall. For pile 2, you have Seraphim gateway with a voice activation, angelic attunement, divine support. And for pile number 3, you have Star Gathering, Stars Aligned, Remembering Home, and Soul Family. Okay, so here are your particular piles. Please feel free to take some time, tune in, and pick whichever pile is calling you. Other than that, I will leave you here to pick your pile, so take your time, and I'll first do the shuffling so you can see that process, and otherwise you can skip straight to your video. By looking down below, I'll leave timestamps. Welcome back. So we're going to do some shuffling. Alright, so it's going to be split into 2 again, as always. Well, as it has mostly in the RPG journey. But yeah, this has been really good. I feel like, I don't know, it's nice to do something that's just chill and not too serious. Okay, this one is number 1. And that's 3, and this one's 2. So yeah, the first section will be the journey for this particular character, and then the second part will be what they're focusing on between 51 and 60. So I feel like the first portion, the journey, will be what happens, you know, the mystery of the journey, the challenges, that kind of thing. And then the second part will be what the character really wants to get done. Okay. These cards feel so nice to shuffle. That one just felt like it was going to go there anyway. So I'll give it a heads up. Alright, so these ones can be read reversed, so I believe I will read them reversed. Let's cut them and flip them. These two. Okay, do 3. Like more want to come out. 2. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll clear these away, grab the other cards for the next section. Okay, welcome back. So, just like said before, this will be basically the main focus of these lives, what they really want to achieve, what they're trying to accomplish, any significant outcome, or focus, pretty much. Focus. Okay. These archetype cards have been great for this type of reading. Okay, everyone, and that concludes the shuffling process. Thanks for waiting around. Below will be the description so you can skip straight to your video. Otherwise, I'll see you in your video, and take care. Hello, pile number 1. So, congratulations on making it this far. You have chosen today the light or Hathor light codes, again with light immersion, full system upgrade, and power recall. Let's see how this plays in today's reading. So again, as always, it is split into the journey, and this is the focus. This is your intentions in this lifetime, or in this part of your life, from 51 to 60. And here's the journey. Oh, okay, so you've got Midas/Miser with entrepreneurial or creative ability to turn anything to gold. Delight in sharing life's riches. The shadow attribute is hoarding money and emotions. Obsessive fear of losing your wealth. You have the sad embrace. You have the amusement card with Kookaburra. You also have Mamakucha with I flow with life and life flows with me. Very blue here. So you have the Eight of Pentacles. You have the Two of Wands. You also have the Ten of Swords reversed. Okay, so what do I see? Basically, straight away, I did see that there is a loss, or there's like a portion of your 50s that is focusing mostly on money material. It's like you want the good things in life, but it's got to the point where when is enough? When do you feel secure? Why is more and more and more money worth, or more and more things in your palace or in your house or in your mansion? When will that be enough? That is feeling like the issue. I feel like there's a loss here as well. There's like a sacrifice of this emotion here. This is what I'm seeing. It's like there's a sacrifice here of time, because it's more focused on what you're doing. It's almost like you have good intentions. I don't feel like you are trying to go behind and just focusing on work because it's, out of greed, 100%. But I don't know if there is any boundaries with what's enough and boundaries within your life. I want to say, when will enough be enough money? When will enough things in your house make you happy? It's almost like, is that the question, or is the question, what is happiness to you? So I feel like internally there is some sad kind of feelings and loss, and there's a potential to move from this. I feel like we'll see what happens here to what you're focusing on, but the journey is more focused on adventuring, work, whatever that may be in this life. I can't see that exactly. But I do feel like you're no longer, from however you grew up and however you got to this pile from your past, you have made something of yourself. But it's almost like you've given it so much. Where is do you actually have your power? I do feel like you're working with another organization or a group. I do like the full system upgrade though. There is a potential to shift this energy, because it does feel like early on, and then to get some kind of excitement in your life, there is a chance to shift. Will you do that though? I feel like from here all the way to your 60th, you still feel stuck in some sense in what you should do. And there is a loss here. I keep holding this card. There is a loss. It feels like a loss of connection to either a loved one, family, parents, and or also immediate family. Some kind of loss here, or shift. The shift could be in relation to like going from one religion to another, or one belief to another, something like that. There's a few different things almost like what you've invented or what you've kind of gained has almost turned into the issue now, or near the end. It's like it looked good at the start, there was some loss in between, and then it took some time to get back on your feet, I want to say, or back into a more sound position. But the energy has been shifted to work, which is keeping you stuck from dealing with your thoughts and what's on your mind. There's something sinister with the amusement and the kookaburra. Can't quite touch on it, but it's almost like stepping outside of yourself and seeing this person that isn't 100% of who you set out to be. You're definitely blessed and guided in this, though. These are challenges, so we will see what happens here with your particular focus, because this is the journey, so this is just what's happened. But we're going to go deep dive in because I feel like we'll uncover more from here. So what I'm going to do is, this is this section, and I'll clear the cards and then we'll go straight into here. Okay, pile number 1. All right, so we're back again. I'm going to see what the focus was in this life. There was a lot of unknowns and I couldn't see exactly what it was. So we're going to see what's in here to uncover what was the sadness exactly. Why was the amusement feeling negative? And why are you still feeling stuck? Okay, so you have bully. The light attribute is highlights your tendency to intimidate others, helps you confront the inner fears that bully you, conceals deep fears behind verbal or physical abuse. Okay, so straight away with the bully, I'm feeling like you're stuck because of your past. It's almost like the money or the retaining of wealth is because of what you didn't have from the past. That doesn't have to be money, it could be emotion, could be something more challenging that was from the past, and that has kind of popped its head up in your 50s because you're starting to reflect. You're in your middle ages. You have the Angel of Verdancy. This is about growth as well. So this is Suklaf. Like these animals are going to see this being. It's kind of interesting. I wonder if you came from one of the ones where you turned into a guardian, because this is touching on this as well. If you didn't, that's okay, because this can be about new beginnings, growth. But if you came from there, it's also about coming to terms with something specific. I'll see what the rest of the cards are. You have reversed Archangel Raziel with wisdom, inspiration, and Akashic records. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff from the past that's coming up now in this life. It's almost like you are being really harsh on yourself and the people around you. The light attribute is showing that, and then the shadow attribute is letting that fear control you in some sense. You also have reckless on the shadow attribute and timid on the light attribute. It's like you don't want to be weak and show your emotions as well. Something is hurting here. All right, let's have a look at the cards. Okay, so there's 4 here. You have the Princess of Discs. You have the Ace of Swords. You have the Art card. And you have the Wands reversed. I'll just show you what it looks like. A lot of shadows. You could be even targeted. in some sense. So what are you focusing on? I feel like you're trying to really work through your inner issues, especially with Raziel reversed. It feels like there's a lot of knowledge within, but it's almost like keeping that within to protect yourself. You were really trying hard. I want to say you're really trying hard to get back into your normal. I do want to say I feel like a family member has passed again. I feel like I talked about that before with the sad embrace. This verdancy is coming through with that. It could also be that you've tried to go see, or you've been on a search for something to help your child, your family members in some way, your community. That's maybe why you were trying to make so much money, is to save up to get the help that you needed. It's almost like a doctor or a wizard or something. But it feels more natural. It feels like it's from the earth, something very special and sort of sacred, like an earth egg, something round, like egg shaped, that could have helped. And you kind of did, you had ideas, you did whatever it could, but then it feels like this just feels very serene, like they passed and it was their time. There was kind of nothing you can do. But there's like this shadow within that is facing like within. So near the end, it does feel like this is why you felt stuck, because you tried so hard and didn't get it. You were trying so hard to balance your life. So that's why I thought the hoarding or collection of money was like, why isn't this enough? But it was because you were trying so hard. Anything you could have done, you would have done to try to help this person out. It's really interesting because we'll see, I guess, in the future, will you pull this, get this power back in and be able to move forward? At the moment, I feel like we kind of leave you in your 60s stuck in your head. It's almost like someone that's gone through a lot, doesn't want to talk about it, and then just kind of waits to pass. It almost feels that like that kind of energy. I know this is feeling a bit somber and it's supposed to be a fun read, but this is just the energy I'm getting. I will say I feel like the person that passed is at peace. They won't fade away forever. It's like they're still there in spirit. But you kind of even see yourself as gone so far out of your normal zone that people can kind of see you as a harsh person, even though they don't know how you feel inside. And you've kind of thrown yourself into work and without dealing with the mental anguish of what's happened. I do feel like you have tried though. You're trying to, this is similar to a temperance card. It's like you're trying to work in on your internal. We'll see if you actually do. I know it's a very kind of short reading. There's not a lot of action or anything like that. There was a journey for sure. You went on a journey, inside, outside, really trying to help this person. It's like you're commendable for doing everything you could. I just don't think it got there, even recklessly, for this trying to save this person. You did almost everything you could do. And that's kind of all you can hope for, is that someone tries their very best. But will you lose yourself in this particular feeling, these emotions? Will they take over you in the future? I want to say that you can pull through this because you still have strength. It's like opening up is going to be the hard bit. I feel like you will see the light again. Oh, I see. This, when I was talking about an egg, it feels like it's almost like a special tree, like let's say the tree of life will give you like a sap or something like that. Like it's kind of like a piece of amber, and like for some reason, I don't know why, it just feels like it's egg shaped. It's almost like the inhalation of the sap, or it's like consuming some way. I don't know in the same way it means inhaling. Maybe it's burnt or something like that. So very interesting. I know, sorry, that it wasn't so upbeat and fun, but we're getting into our middle ages. Things are starting to get real, and this is life. Even in RPG world, when we play video games, there's a lot of ups and downs, and I feel like this is probably, it's had its moments, and then I don't know specifically. I feel like because there's been so many different paths to get to this point, it could be a almost like a soulmate or a child or a parent that has passed. Whoever's still in your life. But they had some kind of affliction. I don't think there was any way to 100% save them, but you did everything you could. And that's exactly what I see in your reading today. Thank you very much for being here. Feel free to give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed and to subscribe so you don't miss any more content. Otherwise, sorry for it being a little bit morbid or sobering, but this is life as well, even in RPG world. So thank you for being here, take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next video. Hello pile number 2. So today you have chosen the Seraphim Gateway with the message Voice Activation, Angelic Attunement, and Divine Support. I'm going to see how this relates to your reading today. So before I begin, this section will be your journey, and here is your focus. So your intentions, this is what's going to unfold. Oh, okay, you have Shapeshifter. The light attribute is skill at navigating through different levels of consciousness, ability to see the potential in everything, projecting any image that serves your personal agenda in the moment. I feel like you've got some skills. You've been studying. You have the compass. This is nice because this is about going to your true north. You have the lion with confidence. You also have Rosa Mystica with dedication. I open my heart with abiding love. Yeah, you are very focused on following the path of light, I want to say. If it's like a believer, you are the believer, and you also can see the benefits. You have the Four of Swords. You have the Fool card reversed. This is the Fool 2.0. There's 2 Fools in this deck. You also have the Moon card. So what do I see for you, pile number 2? I can see that you have dedicated yourself to a particular cause. Before you pass, you want to do everything that your soul calling, you've kind of done everything that you wanted to do on the earth, your earthly self. Perhaps you've kind of had some kind of what we would call like an awakening, but it feels more like a complete understanding of why you incarnated in this life, why you were here, instead of just like, some realization in a small part of your world. This is almost like a complete understanding. You know exactly what you need to do. And you haven't been stopped just because you've come into your 50s. It's almost caused like some kind of, maybe you came from a meeker kind of sadder past, just maybe the last episode, and you're building up your confidence, and I feel like the confidence has gotten really high, and then we've got the full reverse, is like some reckless behavior. So you've taken a quieter approach near the end of this particular journey. So what I mean by that is like late 50s, 60s. Started to go, oh, you know what? I need to slow down, because just because I've got a complete understanding, I still don't know everything. Not everything has light shining on it. there's still some unknowns coming up. Yeah, you're very connected with your idea of a god, goddess, universe, whatever that is in this particular world. It's not talking about our world. This is like you have dedicated yourself to like light beings, I want to say. But you don't worship them, you treat them as equals. And I don't mean like getting into your ego that you are like a god, goddess, or the universe. You are just more of one. Everyone is kind of equal, regardless of the actual being, whether that's like a plant, an animal, you know, or the creator of this universe. You're all equal. I will say the shapeshifter does actually feel like it's not like I can see, you know, Mystique, how she can from X-Men, how she can change any form and look like anybody. It's more of you can kind of mold to your situations personality wise, but also you can change your appearance in some sense, just slightly, looking more kinder, younger, older, whatever kind of fits. You've been bestowed with some kind of energy. Maybe you were about to kind of be a bit more older and weary, but you've kind of been given a lease of life, and you're kind of feeling like you're younger. You've got the younger kind of energy, which makes sense with the Fool. You're like, you know what? I get this understanding. I'm getting some assistance from these light beings. I don't know what they are, but they're not like how we would see angels, even though it talks about angelic attunement. It reminds me of Dark Crystal, what I see. It's like when the Skeksis and the Mystics, I think they were called, the big kind of wandering guys, when they merge and they turn into those light kind of crystal beings, because it's like the shadow and the light aspect in one. So it's kind of like saying our kind of what we would see as demons and angels merging as one. So very interesting seeing that. But yeah, it's taken a lot of energy out of you. So near the end here, you usually this feels like sometimes fear and illusions, but you are kind of the master of the illusion, and it doesn't mean that you're invincible. Still need some rest, but yeah, you've picked up your energy. It looks like a very exciting. So we'll see what happens here. What I'll do is I will clear the table, and then I'll cut the video and come back, and we'll have a look at your focus, your main focus. Hello again, pile number 2. So this is the focus section of your reading. When I was putting away the Fool 2.0, I was thinking, yeah, 2.0, because this is like a second lease on life. It's like a new, it's kind of like you've been given, you know, not invincibility, but an extension of your life, but not like just an extension as in you have an extra 20 years on the end of your life. You've kind of been reverted back to your health or feeling when you were 30, as opposed to now being 50. So very interesting. So your main focus, you've got child wounded. The light attribute is awakens compassion and desire to serve others. Wounded children opens the learning paths of forgiveness. And shadow blames all dysfunctional relationships on childhood wounds, resists moving through forgiveness. I feel like your main focus is working through this, but also to protect young people in the future. I feel like you feel like you're, it's really interesting because near the start, you feel like you're kind of, you got into your ego a little bit with these light beings, but you've kind of mellowed that out near the end. You've sorted that out. I don't think it lasted long, maybe like 2 or 3 months. So that's really interesting. But yeah, you're here to protect. And especially, it's not just children, it's like the downtrodden. So you have reliable, and on the flip side, you have variable. Yeah, you're very supportive. You're reaching out when other people need it, like they're kind of stuck. You're reaching out to help. Wow, you have divine presence, also 44, with the force of love and creation. You have some very powerful abilities. I don't know if you came from any like magical past, but in this area, whatever you came from, you've got that kind of malleable ability, kind of like that shape-shifting ability. It's very interesting because I haven't seen it before. Well, no one's seen like, well, I haven't seen real life shape-shifting, but it's it's kind of like a mix of the mentalist with a little bit of mystique, not fully that kind of full transformation. It's almost like Ditto on Pokemon when he couldn't change his face. It's kind of like that. Oh yeah, when we had the other pile and it had Rosa Mystica, which is the embodiment of Mother Mary, also Isis as well. We're getting submission. So while you're devoted, you're also letting go of the need for control. You're very focused on this. This is definitely your calling. Okay. So you've got the King of Discs. Feels like a real protector. You have the Two of Cups reversed. You also have the Tower reversed. Okay, so what do I see, pile number 2? I do see you, like I said before, you're focusing on your light attributes, the light beings. You're trying to ensure that you're helping them, they're helping you to get what you want out of this life completed. I will say though, by doing this, you're providing so much support to, the downtrodden. You're doing kind of like the angelic work or the light work and giving the bare necessities to people that really need it. Although, I will say with these two cards coming out together, so I was going to pick this one first, and then this one's like, no, this one here. And I believe it's because they both need to be right next to each other for a reason. Looks like any relationships, any connections, this has taken a huge toll because you have had to dedicate yourself to this. So you're almost you're trying to fight for something that's already broken. There's already too much damage done in this relationship. It's very noble what you're doing, but it has meant that I feel like you have some real superpower, by the way, too. You don't just have this like shape shifting. You definitely can, but your shape shifting goes beyond your physical, your internal. You can change your physical world as well, your outside. But not just like, by wishing and hoping something happens. You can make it change. You can make a desert turn into, have a river that is kind of like the Nile. It can provide enrichment, nourishment, life. It's just really hard to give up something because you have such power. But this, you can't hold on to it. I feel like you want to have everything, but there's always going to be a sacrifice when it comes to anything you do in life. Sometimes we work and we want to be there for say if you have a child, our child's first word, that kind of thing. We can't always do that. We need to have the money. There's always have to be some kind of balance. I feel like you've gone full on light, which has created like this light. There's still shadow around. You can't deny that this will leave shadows, or won't leave shadows rather. There's still going to be some shadow side in the light. I want to say this wounded child is the family as well. While you're helping downtrodden, there's still, unfortunately, going to be almost a pattern of how you were almost brought up. There's a potential for that. There has to be a light and shadow attribute and shadow side. Can't just have all light. It's like that saying, without darkness, there is no light. But I want to say you are doing your best. And that's probably why there was the Four of Swords in that other section of the reading. There's like a need to rest. You are pushing yourself quite hard. And there's even a potential to, how you got the youth kind of energy. With all this creation, there's a potential to burn out much quicker as well. So you can kind of burn through those 20 extra years you got in the next year or two. But we'll see how that particular area goes through in your life. Otherwise, that's exactly what I see in this reading. So if you enjoyed, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss any content. But looks like you're a very powerful being of light. So well done. And I will see you in the next video. Hello, pile number 3. So you have chosen Star Gathering with stars aligned, remembering home and soul family. We'll see how this comes into your reading. So the first section here will be your journey, and here will be what you're focusing on. This could be more things that just happen in this life, and this can be what you were trying to achieve. Okay, let's have a look at your cards. Ooh, so you have Avenger. Desire to balance the scales of justice. Righteous on behalf of society or oneself. The shadow attribute is resorting to violence in the name of a cause. See how this plays into your journey. You have God of the Nile with enrichment. My joyful dedication and perseverance are paying off. Very nice. You have the hummingbird with joy. You have the unexpected visitors. And there's an extra card came out. You have talisman. And given some kind of, this is why it's part of the journey and this is what you're focused on. Something's come up that has sent you on a journey. It's kind of like you've been gifted something and it's kind of created a path for you to go on. So you have the Ace of Cups reversed. You have the Magician reversed. You also have the World. It's so interesting, it's so funny. With the Avenger here, it does feel like you haven't stopped being that rogue, that inner rogue or inner thief kind of style within. You're really doing it for the best though. You have good intentions. I will say, with the unexpected visitors, it almost feels like, at first it felt like someone came to you, but then there was an item, like this actual talisman. I feel like you've stolen it in some way. You've kind of taken it for yourself. You're enjoying your life, regardless, just because you're in the 50s and you're like now coming up to your middle age, or in the middle, I guess, of your middle age. It hasn't stopped you from being yourself. You are providing for a community, your family. It's talking about your soul family here. I feel like this is your family, your children, your partner, whoever, parents if they're still around, they're still important to you in some way. It could even be your companions for some of you. If you've come from an area or a life where it was more about friendship and brotherhood, sisterhood, that kind of what do I want to call it? Like your guild. You're still doing that. You're still focusing on them and providing for them and, you know, for yourself as well. But you've been given an item, or you've stolen an item that has sent you on a journey. It's like you're using that power in a dangerous way, which is why the shadow attribute. I feel like at the start it was light, then you kind of got something. You broke in, got something that you know, found and thought, why not? Let's go. It's kind of left you in a particular way, though. We'll see what happens here, because this world is almost feeling like full completion, like a cycle is ending. We'll see what that means exactly with this part. But yeah, you're using your magical powers. You do have some kind of ability for sure. I don't think it's really refined. It might even be just skill, like sleight of hand trickery, not a what we would see as magic, like reviving someone from the dead or something like that. But there's so much excitement in your life. There's still a spark within you that's keeping you going, no matter how long this 50 to 51 to 60 is going. Like, it does feel like there's still this inner light with both these pictures. Like, there's still the sun is still there, the light is still there. Okay, so that's what I see in the first portion. We'll have a look at this because I'm really interested to see what happens. But I'll clear the table and we'll come back to your reading. Okay, welcome back. So I've cleared the cards. Oh, okay. This is what I was wondering. You have Destroyer with releasing what is potentially destructive, preparing for a new life, intoxication with destructive power, destroying others' dreams or potential. This is interesting. Because like I said, it was the last portion, that journey. There was some kind of group or something you've met up with. We'll see what happens. You've got concerned. I'm concerned as well. But there's also the light attribute, reassured. Oh, I think this object is cursed. It didn't feel like it was, but I feel like it's kind of like giving someone, you know, a really lovely gift. And it's like a heart-shaped stone, like a precious stone, let's say a diamond. And it has like a magical inscription of love inside. It feels really good from the outside and it looks really pretty, but there's something cursed on it. So it's like the object looks fine, but no, now that I see this, there's something attached to that object, like a some kind of creature. Like, I guess we would say a demon, but it feels different. Doesn't feel good though. You have attachment reversed with longing and desperation. This is reversed, so I feel like this is usually about coming unstuck and moving on, which is interesting because she's reaching for the diamond. When it's this way, it's talking about really wanting something no matter what, even though you're reaching up for it, but you're getting tangled even more. But it doesn't stop you from trying to reach that. Whether it's going to help you or not, it's kind of like you're feeling too bad, you're still going to keep trying it. And reversed, it's like understanding that that's not going to help you and pulling away the cobwebs and being unstuck. You have, speaking of demons, you have Duma, Angel of Dreams. When I say demon, I mean in our world or in religious mythology. Duma is the angel, is a fallen angel. who's doing what they can to come back and be like this. What I mean is this attachment. I feel like this is why it didn't feel bad. It's like not great, but I feel like this attachment is trying to redeem themselves in some way. It's really interesting. So we have the Queen of Swords. This is touching on this destroyer energy because, like you can see here, reversed, it's kind of like anything that you feel is out of balance, off with their head kind of feeling, very off with their head kind of mentality. You wrong me, you're done. That's kind of how this is feeling. So while sometimes balances can be like, even to some people, this person does something wrong, let's say they stole a piece of fruit, and you feel it's just for them to have their head chopped off, so they're dead. And in your mind, that's balanced. Maybe to the rest of the world, that's not, but that's how this balance is feeling. It's like, I say what's balanced. I say what's justice. You also have the Seven of Cups. It's so interesting because at the start of the reading, I felt like you were more in the light. I feel like there's a potential for this being to help or hinder you. It's the attachment feels very neutral. And just because something's neutral doesn't mean it's okay or good. It's definitely not good. It's neutral, right? It kind of feels like a scientist who tests on animals and, kills, let's say, 1 million animals, but then also saves, 100 people's lives. There's still a loss to get that. And it's almost like, could there have been a better way? Maybe. Would it have been quicker? Maybe not. Who's to say? Who's the judge? You've taken that into your own hands. Some interesting choices to be made. I feel like you know now in this that there is some kind of attachment to this item that you've stolen or taken, but you've kind of left your group in a sense. It's like saying, hey, I'm going to go on a journey. You're either with me or you're against me, or I'm just going tomorrow. And they might, be like, oh, we've been friends or companions for a long time. We need like a week. You're like, no, this is my choice. I'm going now. It's very all or nothing. There is a potential to release this feeling or entity attached to this globe. I feel like this is it. It's radiating and it's also drawing in, so it feels like the concerned is actually the item, the talisman that you've taken. And while it is helping you on your journey, because it's leading you down a particular path, which feels more shadowy, but I feel like right now you are getting to your 60s. You're in your light, and then at the start, and then during this journey, you've gone into your kind of light and shadow, or just in the grey, for argument's sake, let's say grey. And I feel like you can go down into the darkness, because even this feels sinister for some reason, especially reversed. It's kind of like saying, there's a lot of choices this way, procrastination, but this way it feels like I can take it all. Or I can just knock them all over because they don't even matter, these choices. I know what I'm doing, I know where I'm going. So it has impacted your mind in some way. It makes me feel like now this is all dark. Potential for dark. Stars aligned, remembering home. It's so interesting because it does feel like the start was fine, and then this item is just kind of taken you down a very interesting path. It has given you a new lease on life. I will say the Avenger kind of lifestyle was great and gave you a sense of achievement, but this has gotten you out of your desire for menial little diamonds, and you're going to go for the world. It's like you can get the power of a volcano, for example. You can get the power of something much bigger than just a petty little diamond or a gem. You can get so much more. We'll see how this impacts your 60s though, because this feels a little neutral / maybe dark light. I feel like whichever pile you pick next week will explain to you where you're going to go. But very interesting, and that's exactly what I see for your reading today. So if you've enjoyed, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. Otherwise, take care of yourself. Wait until next week. We'll see how this pans out. But I'll see you in your next reading.